Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
Good Monday afternoon, everyone. Lead meteorologist John Choquette here for our daily forecast. As always, thanks to our sponsors, C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and Art of the American Contractor Show. All in the description below and in the link below as well. Check them out. And as always, thank you for making all of these videos possible, especially in the quiet times of the year. But today is not one of those quiet times. We do have hail, wind, and tornadoes all possible this evening and into the overnight hours again. Even though it's February, we seem to keep getting severe weather in the overnight. And that's going to be possible tonight across southern plains, including the Dallas area and the rest of North Texas and a good chunk of Oklahoma and even into Arkansas. So we'll break that down for you. And that is going to continue tomorrow, where we may see some more tornadoes in the southeast. Might be a little bit more of a robust event than what we saw last week. We did see a few tornadoes last week as well. We'll break down where and the timeline for that exactly. And of course, we're going to start off talking about what our thoughts for 2022 are going to be, where you can go see that anyway. We're not going to have that in the video form until all the events are done, but you can come see us and see what we're expecting for this year and what is already happening, if that is in line with what we're forecasting. You can come check us out tomorrow even in Dallas, Texas. So if you missed us at SRC, you didn't come see us in Oklahoma City, you come check us out in Dallas tomorrow. It's the Company Cams Highway to Hail event. Derek is presenting the forecast for Dallas on tomorrow. We have Denver on Thursday, Chicago the following week on March 1st, Nashville after that, March 4th, and finally, this will actually feature our first look into a hurricane forecast, Orlando, Florida. So, and if you want to know what we are thinking for 2022, what has already happened and kind of seeing where that is going to go, come join us at Company Cam's Highway to Hail events in all of these cities. I think Dallas is almost full. The link is in the Linktree link below. Go sign up. It's free. Should be a good time. And again, Dallas, the forecast will be presented at the end of the day for those. And we also have another event coming up. This is a bit of a word dump here on here, but is Jen Silver's event, the One Industry, One Model. We're also going to be at that. Derek will be presenting this on February 28th here in Dallas at the Marriott DFW Westlake. That is the Marriott right by DFW International Airport. So you're flying in, you're pretty easy. Get off the plane, shuttle over to the hotel, and then you can go right back on home after this. Super interesting stuff. Jen Silver and a bunch of other people, including Derek, will be presenting at this. Basically, she has really been changing how the whole claims process works. So real interesting stuff. I know a lot of folks at the Oklahoma City event were super intrigued by what she had to say. So come check this out February 28th. Registration and all that information is here on the screen. I know it's a little small, but you can also check it out on our Facebook page as well. So jumping into current conditions, now we are past events coming up. Let's look at what's happening right now across the country. We're zooming in here to the area where we're going to see severe weather tonight. And right now, across Oklahoma and into North Texas, just some high-level clouds racing off to the northeast. No real precipitation with that. This will help trigger some storms later on today, and there's a ton of rain off in the southeast. That's not going to impact our severe weather chances at all here in the southern plains. Zooming out, bringing up those temperatures, you can very clearly see what is that trigger for all this severe weather that's going to happen the next couple days. Yet another cold front that's going to be racing down to the south. It's a little hard to tell. We can see the demarcation between the very cold colors, the pinks and purples and blues, and then the greens and the yellows here as the temperatures are warming up. We have that cold front pretty much draped from just south of Omaha across into Colorado, and this is going to rapidly sink to the south here tonight, and that will be a real force for some storms, as well as the activity that's off to the Four Corners region here. This will all kick off some severe weather as well. Nice and warm, nice and unstable already. It's already 71 in Dallas, about 70 degrees here in Oklahoma City, and with that we also have quite a bit of moisture to work with as well. It's a little bit humid. 61-degree dew point in Dallas in mid-February. That's pretty good. 51 here in Oklahoma City, 66 in Houston. A lot of moisture to work with, a lot of instability to work with. Again, for there to even be storms at nighttime here in February, it's a little unusual. So it looks like we'll definitely be seeing some severe weather here. We'll bring up that future radar starting right now. We can jump way ahead here through the rest of the day. There'll be very few storms during the day today, but the models are showing by about 7 o'clock. Here's Dallas, here's Oklahoma City, I-35. Looks like a couple storms trying to get their acts together around 7 o'clock p.m. and they're going to be moving pretty quick off to the north and to the east. Move it forward a little bit more by about 8:30. I see we have storms right along the Red River here, a couple storms back off to the north of I-20, and these are going to be your potential for your big hailers and up to some tornadoes as well. Golf ball sized hails is possible with any of the stronger storms in here. You can kind of notice as we keep pushing forward through the midnight hour, storms keep happening, and they're pretty close to DFW. It looks like if there's anywhere in the Metroplex, I'd pinpoint probably close to Denton, but it looks like we could be seeing some storms. And these are all going to stream off to the north and east as well. So a lot of southeastern Oklahoma and even up into the Fayetteville, Arkansas area, you could see some storms tonight. Again, this is at midnight here, and we zoom out, and the risk actually kind of expands a bit across sections of the Mississippi River Valley from near St. Louis down south to the Ohio River Valley. All this could produce some hail and gusty winds through the overnight hours tonight, and that sets the stage for tomorrow, where we'll see some severe weather as well in the southeast. So what are we expecting for max hail size? I did just mention a second ago, up to that golf ball size hail. I think is going to be your maximum hail size today with any of the strongest storms, any of the isolated storms. We'll have up to that golf ball size hail. I think we'll be hard pressed to anything larger than that. There is instability, and it's unusual for this time of year, but it's not that unusual. It's not enough to get to the mega size hail. So golf ball size hail, again, anybody in Dallas or Oklahoma City or anywhere in between, any kind of hail here in February is a welcome sight to get that storm season started a little early. I think storm timeline for the DFW Metroplex, I think anywhere between 8 p.m. and possibly as late as 3 a.m. I think a real focus on the 8 to maybe midnight time frame. Couple different possible storm options here. You got that first round of storms maybe right around 7, and then that later line of storms closer to midnight. Max hail size, I think up to golf ball size hail, and that's going to be in the northern 2 counties of the Metroplex. So I think Collin and Denton County, and not so much places like Arlington or Dallas. We could have, again, that low chance overall because it's very possible the storms that are going to happen might be just a tad too far to the north, but everything has been kind of trending a little further south as today has gone. So that's why I'm keeping Dallas in there, and a low chance of that larger than golf ball size hail. Again, I think the max size we're going to see today is up to golf balls. Oklahoma City timeline a little bit different here, a little bit later, and I think a little bit lower overall chance. I think the issue with Oklahoma City is you guys might be on the north side where storms are. The cold front might get to the city before the storms do, and if that happens, you're not going to see any big hail tonight. So, but between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m., you could see some storms, maybe up to that $half size hail for the metro here in Oklahoma City, and even then it'd be like Norman. It would likely not be Edmond or Oklahoma City. I think it's going to be really getting close to the wire here of where storms are going to be coming in and where the cold front that is going to kill storm potential is going to be racing through. So again, giving that low chance of the quarter size hail here in Oklahoma City, and Tulsa and Joplin are kind of the same way as well, and you'll see that in the forecast here in just a second, where we could see some storms, but it looks like it'll be a hard cutoff line. So now here on our C3 Group sponsored hail forecast, we have 2 different areas we're looking at. As you can see, we have the yellow, that's going to be your quarter to $half size hail, and then up to that golf ball size hail here in the orange. We zoom it in just a tad, you can get to where we're expecting for the cities. I have that low chance here in Oklahoma City, like I mentioned. Tulsa's kind of the same way. I think you'll probably have a better chance of seeing some bigger storms, but I think the hail potential is still pretty low. Joplin's the same way. So you can see that really hard cutoff, right? So just an hour or two difference could mean the world between you could see some big hail or even some severe weather in general, or real intense north winds and that wind shifts, get some cold rain, and then possibly some winter weather going into Wednesday and Thursday. Fort Smith, I got you guys in a moderate chance of seeing at least quarter-size hail. It's looking pretty likely. Fort Smith and the Fayetteville area will see some activity this evening and into the overnight hours, and possibly up to that maybe ping pong ball size hail or so. Going a little bit further south, I'm zooming really far in here to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex to really kind of emphasize the areas. So when I'm saying up to golf ball size hail, what I'm referring to, I think, again, here's Denton right here. Got that moderate chance of seeing some storms. You're a lot closer to where all the models are showing that activity happening. So we're keeping you that moderate chance up to that golf ball size hail. And that cutoff line here, probably around McKinney down to just south of Denton a bit, probably a little north of Keller, but here in Dallas-Fort Worth, low chance up to that quarter to $half size hail. It's very possible you guys might not even see any activity. It might be just some lightning flashes off to the north. So that's what we're expecting for hail today in terms of wind and tornado potential. Pretty similar. We could actually see wind all the way as far back as Odessa, as some storms may be forming this afternoon. But we're starting further off to the east. This is going to be very late tonight, probably between about midnight and 6 a.m. Everywhere from Louisville to Nashville to St. Louis could see some gusty winds with any of those storms that are occurring. The tornado risk will be low with these, at least for tonight. Moving off further to the west, this is where your main tornado potential is. I got the two tornado icons that kind of indicate pretty much from the Fayetteville area back to just south of Wichita Falls. Any supercells that form here could produce a brief tornado or two. Gusty winds will definitely be featured with any storms that occur, especially once the cold front that I had mentioned starts racing to the south. There might be more strong winds. This is very similar to last week. Might be more strong winds behind the cold front that might actually be in the storm. So overall, a low tornado chance for the majority of folks. I think if you're in places like Ardmore or Wichita Falls, Sherman, Texas, Paris, Texas, up towards Fayetteville or Fort Smith, that's where your better chance of any sort of lower end tornadoes are possible. So what about the tornado risk for tomorrow? Looks like we'll actually see a pretty good chance of seeing some intense storms. This is the future radar for tomorrow. We start about 5 a.m. Jumping all the way ahead here to about 3 in the afternoon, and you can already see where I'm going to zoom in here in Alabama. You have some isolated storms forming here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon across Alabama and Mississippi. Have possibly some pretty intense storms here in Kentucky and Tennessee, where we could get a line of storms, but with like embedded tornadoes with that. Zooming in a bit here to near dinner time, you can definitely see these would be the big time problem makers across northern Alabama, sections of central Tennessee, and even back into Mississippi. This is your better chance of those tornadoes, possibly even a couple strong. If any of these storms stay isolated, we had a couple tornadoes, a couple moderately strong tornadoes. I don't know if any of them were EF2 or not, but yeah, no EF2s, okay. So we had a couple EF1 tornadoes happen last week. We could have very similar, possibly an EF2 in here as well. The potential is there for between about 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock tomorrow, especially in northern Alabama, Tennessee, and into Mississippi. Keep pushing forward here. Things turn into more of a messy line of storms by about 10:30. Could still be some embedded tornadic activity and, of course, some very gusty winds as well for your Tuesday. And once we get past about midnight or so, things really start to quiet down. And by the time we get to Wednesday morning, not too much of a big concern across the south. So what are we looking at for that hail forecast on your Tuesday? Looks like overall I'm pretty conservative with this one. I think because of the messiness of what we're looking at here and the potential for storms being more embedded in a line instead of being more isolated, I think overall that hail size is going to be depressed a little bit to about quarter to $half size hail. And the chances overall are low across the board, especially off to the north. I think if you have any chance of a little bit better of hail, it'll probably be south of I-40 here in Tennessee and into Mississippi and Alabama, where you have that chance of some more isolated activity, but still overall a lower chance of hail. The main story for tomorrow is going to be more that tornado and gusty wind risk, which we're showing here right now. Again, pretty much what we were seeing in that future radar. Anywhere where you have the line of storms moving through, or even the isolated storms, you have pretty much an equal chance of gusty winds and possibly even some tornadoes as well. Where I have hatched, that's your best chance for tornadoes. Really two different areas. We have here where the Ohio River and the Mississippi River come together. I think you could see some tornadoes there. And we have the potential as well later on in the afternoon. Any isolated storms that form in Mississippi, Middle Tennessee, or western sections of Alabama have that potential of seeing some tornadoes there as well. So that's what we're looking at. I think the Memphis, that's your biggest population center at risk there. Overall, the tornado chances, I think pretty low except for within my hatching zone for your Wednesday. I think somebody asked about DFW, the timeline for that. It's gonna be later this evening after about 7 p.m. and within the Metroplex itself, best chances are going to probably be Denton or Collin County, and less so Dallas, Fort Worth, Mansfield, areas like that. So northern sections of the Metroplex, which I'm sure a lot of you folks are pretty used to, up to that golf ball size hail. Not a crazy chance, but hey, it's February. You might as well have something in there. So any other comments, questions, or concerns, put it in the comment section below. You can always reach out to us as well. Follow us on our social media platforms. Pretty easy to find us. It's at Hailtrace. No matter what it is, it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is. You can follow us simply at Hailtrace. Share our video, give us a like, all that great stuff to get our content out there to different people. Or you can give us a call, 855-334-4245. Storm season's rapidly approaching here, guys, so make sure everything is ready to roll for when that first big storm hits you. Email us as well at info@hailtrace.com. We are here to help you guys. And visit our website. You can also chat with us on our website as well. We may or may not do a video later on, depending on if anything changes drastically. So keep an eye out for that. And if for some reason storms happen not at 2 o'clock in the morning, we will do live coverage, which would be fantastic. But chances are it'll be pretty late. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow. If you don't see us later, have a good one.